What's up, guys? Alright, getting started today. It's what? It's Thursday. It's the 5th. It's 2:10. It's a little late. I've been starting late. Um, but you know what? I've actually been having some, like, I don't know. I feel like just the way things have been going, this later session is actually like more productive. For whatever reason, I'm just more awake. And I started taking a little bit more of my caffeine and vitamin and stuff because I had cut back big time because I was like, felt like I was taking too much. I switched from coffee to caffeine pill because sugar stains teeth, takes more time, costs more, etc., etc. And I was up to like 3 to 4 coffees a day. It was a lot, so cut back. I cut back a little too much, I think, and I was like just really tired all the time. Um, so anyway, I'm nice and caffeine up here at 2 o'clock, and we're gonna get in at least 2 hours. Um, Maybe go till 5. Take a little 5 to 10 minute break on the hour mark. So let's see if we can pick up where we left off yesterday. So the C line 835 in server. Okay, so that's good news that we think we located the bug. We'll see about that. Yeah, no, I'm actually like pretty certain that is the location. I remember like 99.9% positive. Like I'd bet my paycheck on it just about. Okay, so stream's working. Cool. Alright. Now let's go to this file server, and we can go ahead and close all these other files except for progression server and client. Alright, so we have below line 99% certain this is cause of C2 draw animation visual bug. It is being removed because dir string is equal to game. Need to change this line to weed out only those game adders which do not need to be transferred to other client. Be careful. Check to ensure not affecting other code references. True. Okay, so I think I know a clever way to, like, think about this for a second first before I say that. So what we have to do first is, well, this section removes data point changes that are associated with the game file, and currently it would remove every single one of them. And I think I had went through and like verified that none of them needed to be transferred, which is why we were able to not transfer them. Let me see if I have a note on this. Card group data dict. It is necessary on client pi because of setup. Or check card group data dictionary. Okay. Play cards only handles melds. Pre-sort play cards only handles cards. Verified thread safety for C1, C2 apply counters. Game adders, other client perspective. Verify that from the perspective of other client. None of the transferred game adders are necessary. Do not send them. It is a wasted data effort. See right here, this one. This is the node I was looking for, but in reality, that is not entirely true, because what is it called? Okay, so apparently I have closed. Oh, I don't know why I just did that, because I'm gonna have to modify this. We need to. Let's check my extensions and make sure I don't need to restart any of them. Okay, and we don't, which is cool. And let's go back over here and open up game, and we're looking for, what is it, card group data. I know how I can find it. I can open up card, I can open up game, go to card, and it should show right here. Okay, it's card group data. So let's go put this in order. So we have progression on the main thread. Then we have, it calls the draw animation function. Then that in turn goes to locations, calls the draw animation function, which in turn changes the X and Y of the cards, which in turn goes to the card file and calls the X and Y setter, which in turn calls the data transfer function, and we use the game dir string and the adder name of card group data, and that in turn will begin, that will append it to the change attribute list, which in turn will, I don't have that file open, but it's this file right here, and it appends to the change attribute list. And then on server file on the client thread, that change being appended to that change attribute list gets detected, and then we filter out certain attributes after they're sent to the current client's corresponding client. When we go to send to the other client right here, before we do that, since we had deemed none of the game attributes necessary in terms of other clients' reception, we filter them all out right here. That's what we do in this for loop. But that is not entirely true. We shouldn't do that, not in all cases, because as you can see, the card group data okay, maybe let me try this again. Okay, card group data. Okay, so this is detected in dir check. Okay. If adder name string is equal to card group data, if current game state is in none, waiting other player to draw one, do not send adder equals equal to true. Okay. Then progression. Okay. Okay. Okay, so that's it. That's the only... Ah. Okay. So I see what we did there. We actually are correct in the assessment that all game attributes don't need to be sent. So what? Because it's not actually a game attribute. We put game as the dir string, but it's not associated with the game file. I guess it used to be. I think that's what it was. Is it used to be associated with the game file, but we changed that. So this is actually going to be... I think we can change it to be card. It would be the only one associated with the card dir string. But I need to make sure that changing it to card is not gonna cause bugs with other related code. So in dir check it looks to be safe. All we do is we check if receive bool, then we directly check the adder name string. We don't actually check dir string. Let's see. Okay, so we do check dir string to assign. But this is only for else, which accounts for all other adder name string instances. And in this case, we wouldn't end up in this else clause because the card group data is one of these right here at the top. So it would be if adder elif 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 and then else. So this wouldn't be a problem for us. But then we check the dir string var here. Okay, but what do we do with it? Dir string var is equal to player, game, object arg equals current game. Okay. Tech, okay. Okay, for toop and apply list, dirster var equals toop sender ID, okay. If toop sender ID is equal to current client ID, other client bool arg equals false. If dirster var is equal to player, object arg equals current player. If dirster var is equal to game, object arg equals current game. And if toop sender ID is not equal to current client ID. Other client board equals true. So this would be if server side client 1 is sending to client side client 2, or if server side client 2 is sending to client side client 1. But I don't think we would ever actually use this assignment because we don't actually send any game attributes. I'm gonna just hold off on that though. I'll put a caution comment. I'll just put 5.4 while reviewing for solution to another related bug. Notice that this assignment is probably now obsolete since we never send game adders to other clients. Then this would never happen. Not 100% sure, so review thoroughly before disabling or removing. Yeah. Alright, so let's just keep going here and see if there's any reason why we wouldn't be able to change it to the card dir string. Change the dir string to card. And so far, I haven't seen anything here. This wouldn't be an issue because we wouldn't enter into this else clause. This wouldn't be an issue. Well, the only thing would be our object arg would be nothing. So what exactly, because our dir string would be card and we wouldn't really need to, what object would we be handling in that case? Well, we would actually be handling the deck, wouldn't we? Wouldn't this be deck? Because that's the... I mean, it's the deck is composed of the cards, and we're modifying the card data, and we would access those cards through... Well, we actually access those cards through the card group data dictionary, or I don't know if it's still a dictionary, but it used to be. I think it still is. I know I changed some of that stuff though with this last refactor. So let's see what the object arg does exactly. Okay, I'm sorry. Object, rather. looking for the wrong thing. Okay, there's a lot of instances of that. Okay, so object is default to none. Okay, so for card group data, we use object to get the game state. So in this case, object would still be, I see. We still need the object to be the game object, because that's going to determine whether or not we go forward and make this change. Now I'm thinking about the necessity of this line right here. If object game state is not in none, waiting other player to draw one. I know there was a good reason that we added it initially, but that was a long time ago. I think we do need it. I think that might be what... Is that what disables, like, the transferring of the card data whenever we initially set the values for the during setup, like when we create the cards? But I thought the data transfer variable, or attribute rather, is what determined that. So if the game state's not in any of this, is in this list, we then apply this data. If the game state was in this list, we would not apply any of this data. And I noticed that we have current game object. So isn't it if only if card data transfer is true? And this is now a special case scenario. Added in data transfer equals true to have this happen only whenever the game is performing location of the draw animation during the draw too. So like the whole point of this line, where is it? The whole point of this line right here is to make sure that already transferred data is only applied in the case that the game state is not in a certain. So okay, yes, because normally X, Y, and display layer values are derivatively set through appends trigger all that derivatively. So we don't actually like, we don't need to transfer X, Y, um, display layer changes. So TLDR, I think that we don't need to have that line anymore. I don't like dead code. Like, if it's dead, I want it gone. I don't want to see it anymore if it's dead. If we don't need it, I want it gone. Um, this is now a special case scenario. Added in data transfer equals true. To have this happen only whenever the game is performing location, the draw animation during the draw 2. But this also actually happens and I kind of like got off track here, but it's worth it, I think, if I can get rid of any dead code. Let's see. Let me just put a note here, so since I got off track, I won't forget what I was doing. Like the main thing I was doing, which is, you know what? Actually, even better. I'll put it right here, and I'll say, line 90. Change dir string to card, but still need access to game object in dir check call. C line, and this is gonna be well, that's actually in question right now. Like, if we don't need this, if we don't need this line, then we don't need that game object. You see what I'm saying? So this actually is more important than I thought. 140, but might not need that line altogether. And I've actually never used the terminal for like note taking like this, but you know what? It's actually pretty good. It's like you know, might as well make use of the space. It's there. It's always there. Okay. Why do my eyeballs hurt? Tired, I guess. Okay. There's another instance wherein we use, what's it called? Data transfer. So let's look up data transfer. Project search card group data. Okay, so here's, it's checked there, there, and there, and we for usage. So we set it to true in the draw 2, we set it to false, but we also set it to true in round reset. Yes, we set it to true in round reset as well. So we need to change that comment, which is here. in card. Was it? I just made that change. Okay, I see. Oh, I see. Alright. Added in data transfer to have this happen only whenever a game is performing location, the draw animation during the draw 2. What does that even do? I hate when I hit a bad keybind that does nothing, because then I'm like, what did it actually do in the background? I know I did something. What did it do? Dangerous. What did I break? Okay, so we fixed that little comment. It's little stuff matters though. It's always important to keep your comments up to date when you change your code. It's very important. Okay, so next step is let me think through this logic a little bit more. So when we receive any card group data change, but we would only receive card group data change if change from dir check was false and card data transfer is equal to true, which means that would only happen during the draw 2 and thereafter. So if this line checks for a game state being none, waiting other player than the draw 1, then it seems like we would have no use for this line at all, because the draw 1, all those game states come before the draw 2. So like by proxy of the data transfer attribute being set to true, triggering the data transfer, that means this line is like redundant, which means we could remove it, I think. Before I actually remove it, let's talk this through real quick. I think we had this line before because we would always transfer the XY data. That was before I realized that 99% of it was derivative and already was transferred, and transferring it was in fact double transferring it. And since, you know, once I realized that, I refactored, I added in that data transfer attribute. Therefore we only transferred it in that 1% of the time, and I just never removed this line of code. So I think what happened is we refactored the way that this works, and I just didn't do like, there's obscure unrelated code that doesn't have keywords that will match your like refactor, you know what I mean, and you can easily like overlook stuff like this. So I'm pretty sure we can disable this. Like, I'm almost certain. Data transfer is initially set to, let's see, what is it initially set to? And why is it not showing up in card when we search? Okay, because it's not dot data transfer, because it's a class attribute and not an instance attribute. So it's initially set to false. Okay. we go. Fix that. So we have type bool, um, purpose, the boolean variable that is set to true whenever reprised at the draw animation and during the round reset. Immediately set back to false after alteration. This is a unique instance in which cards are not appended or popped. They are moved via direct alteration of cards. XY adders. This means skeleton data transfer will not be captured via typical derivative of append means, so it's a special case. These are the only instances in which cards are moved in a way other than append or pop. Alright, even better, shorter and sweeter. The bool adder that is set to true whenever progression pi is at the draw animation and during round reset, immediately set back to false after alterations. This is the special case wherein cards, skeleton data transfer would not be captured via typical derivative of append means they are moved via direct alteration to the cards XY adders. These are the only instances in which cards are moved in a way other than append pop. True. Yeah, pretty sure. Pretty sure we hit the nail on the head with that one, so... Okay, so back to what we were doing. Wanted to fix that, make that nice and sweet. Okay, so let's so we're gonna go ahead and add the caution comment here. We're gonna put below line 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and comment created 9, 5, 24. Realized that this line is almost certainly unnecessary after implementation of data transfer adder card adder. These game states occur before the draw 2, which is the first time data that adder is enabled, which allows for X even more so is just um, now card data is only transferred if this adder is set to true, nullifying, making this redundant. The data would never be transferred during these game states. Yeah. Disabling unless I realize that this is somehow necessary. So we're gonna disable it, and that means we're going to unindent this section now. I'll just put remember to re-indent below lines section if is re-enabled. True. Okay, so now this means that if we were to execute this if clause, we won't need object anymore. We won't need that to be assigned. And this is actually not going to be game anymore. This is going to be, we'll call it card because technically that's what we're changing. Yeah, so that would mean this line also. So I'm gonna add this this comment here to this line right here. So we have comment created, disabling us realizes there's some unnecessary, realizes this line is almost certainly unnecessary. After implementation of data transfer card adder, now card data is card data is now only transferred If this adder is set to true, making this section redundant, the data would never be transferred during these game states. Remember to re-indent below lines for associated section if this line is re-enabled. So we're gonna disable that. Ah. Well, then that means this whole section would just be a pass. Would just become pass. So this is actually below section gets disabled. We instead would just say pass, because if the adder name string is card group data, then that means it has already been appended to the change attribute list, which means that the data transfer adder was already set to true, which means that we do want to transfer the data. So, given that understanding, I think we made a good decision here. Yeah, so now we would just pass in this case. And we'll leave it unless, we'll just leave it around for a while. Now we can go to card, and we're gonna change this from game. We're gonna change it for all three. We're gonna change this. Let's search for it. There's 5 of them. So this is going to be changed to deck, or card rather. Right. And then this is going to be changed to card. And then this one is going to be changed to card. Alright. So this should fix that issue, so that whenever we go here, so let's run through it again. Card data transfer set to true, the draw animation gets run, draw animation changes to XY. When we go to change the XY, it's going to check if self change clear text is equal to false, card data transfer to true, which it will be. It's going to call data transfer function. It's going to add this to the change attribute list with the dir string as card, and then that's going to get detected here in this dir check section. I mean, not dir check section. That's going to get detected on the client thread. Then it's going to run this section, and it's going to check to see if the tuple at index 1, which is the dir string, and we'll just put tup at index 1 is equal to the dir string. Yeah, that is true. So, well, yeah, because we add the current time in the change attribute list files data transfer function, so we modify the order of the indices by changing the caltup. We add the current time as index 0, and then caltup at index 0 becomes caltup at index 1, and caltup at index 0 is the dir string. So that means when we say if tup1 here, index 1 is referring to the dir string. Okay, and we'll just put verified that tup1 is equal to dir string. So this is now going to check if it's equal to game, but it's not going to be equal to game in this case anymore. It's going to be equal to card. So it's not going to remove this data from the change attribute list in this case. which means um, it will get transferred from client 1 thread to server side to client side client 2, which should in turn make it so that the client 2 will apply that data as long as it meets the conditions here. And let's see if I can find it real quick. Alright, right here. So this is going to be receive card group data. Okay, card. Yeah, so it would receive it and change it, because this would only happen, this would only get transferred, like basically if it passes, if it gets transferred, it needs to be transferred, therefore it will be applied. There's no like other condition it needs to meet other than being found in the received change attribute list. Okay, so there is another section. Well, so let me make sure it doesn't need object here. Okay, so it doesn't actually need object in this section. Wait a second. Assigns. So, but this is for else. Yeah, remember, we're not going to enter into that section. Okay. This is the else. This is in that else section. Yeah, so we don't have to worry about that. Okay. So let's keep going here. Okay, so this is where I was concerned about right here. This is when it's received changes in the change attribute list. It's got them in the apply list, and now it's checking the dir string there, and it's going to see. In this case, it wouldn't assign the object arg, but remember, we won't actually need it in this case. So we should be good. I think so. Like, I think we'll be fine. And what about cur game? Um, so that's just used to call draw window main. Okay, so I need to search everywhere for I'll put this in things to do. Okay. Um, just want to make sure game equals current game. Okay, yeah, so that would be available. And that this yeah, so that should be fine. Alright, yeah, so we should be good here. Trying to think if I missed anything. We will check, let's run through one more time. We call draw animation. That changes the X, the Y, and the display layer. The dir string will be card in all three scenarios. So then whenever we go, let's just review this section just to be safe. Then whenever the data transfer function is called, okay, yeah, that's all good. Now after that it's appended to the change attribute list, then it's detected in the threaded client right here, and then it's gonna go to filter out all the game adders from the change attribute list. But since the dir string is no longer equal to game, it won't get weeded out, which means it should get transferred to the other client. Now the client should receive it with that change attribute list receive, and it's going to enter into this section if receivable is equal to true, pattern name is equal to card group data, which it will be. Then it's just gonna go ahead and apply that data. and it'll have access to current game. It doesn't need access to object, which is cool, because that won't be assigned in the well, which section was that actually where the object arg or whatever, what was it called? The object arg or whatever. Not that one. Not that. There we go. Object arg. So this is in. Okay, so this is before, right before dir check gets called. Gotcha. This is in the client's main while loop. And this is not going to be assigned. Okay. So then object arg would just be default to none. Oh, well this would actually throw an error because object arg would not be assigned. So actually I do have to let's see, if tube sender ID. Oh fuck. I hope I didn't just get a fucking copyright strike there. Damn it, they got me. Yeah, so we actually do have to add an elif clause here. So we have to say if their string var is equal to card only in case transferring of card group data. Isn't that what it's called? Yeah, card group data, pretty sure. Yeah. Yep. Then the object arg is none. Not necessary. Space is none. Actually, you know what? I can just add this right here. Okay, so that should solve that issue, because then it won't throw an error, because then object arg would not be assigned. Okay, cool. So it looks like I think we took care of this. I think we're good. So I should be able to remove this. So this all should be completely fixed now. I think. Fingers crossed. I think that was the problem, and I think I fixed it. I reviewed everything, and everything looks good, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Alright, cool. So we're done with this. Let's go ahead and go to our things to do, and we'll leave this. I'm gonna put did fix, have yet to test. Some devlog to 323. We'll say continued debugging of the draw animation client to bug. Did thorough. If I can spell it. Review. Implemented fix attempt. After finding likely culprit or issue. Data change was being filtered out because it was identified as game header, so it wasn't being sent to other clients. Did thorough review of all changes, and we'll just put solution changed dir string for associated changed attribute list entry to card from game. So now it is not filtered out and should be sent to other clients. Cool. And we did a thorough review of all changes, and everything looks great. Next thing is 320 onward, and I think I'm actually gonna take a break. I'm gonna eat, and yeah, so I'm gonna eat and come back and do some more. I'm a little tired. The not enough sleep is starting to catch up with me. The caffeine's wearing off. Did an hour and 15. Let me go ahead and test it real quick and see if that worked. Let me read this note. Line 90 card pod change dir string to card, but still need to access game object. Call C line 140, but might not need that line altogether. Project search card group data. Did all of that. Now let's go ahead and run the server script. Uh-oh. Okay, client 336. Where's this? Obsolete, not sure, need to review. Okay, yeah, true. And I'll just put this C line 336. C line number 336 in 5. Alright, so that's commented out now. Let's try this again. Okay, that's up and running. Now let's run the client script. Alright. Try this again. Run the client script there as well. Okay, it's asking him for his name. This guy's gonna be Joshua, and oops, this guy's gonna be M. We don't need this open. And okay, prepare to play Canasta, Joshua. Still, okay, there we go. Because of that delay, which I can always shorten. Prepare to play Canasta, M. Alright, now let's see if we get the... Ah, there we go. We fixed the bug, boys. Look at that. Joshua, pick your card from the stack. M, pick your card from the stack. There we go. Look at that. So now he's going to pick his card. And the delay causes it to delay a long time, which we're definitely going to need to shorten that delay. And there's a visual bug there, so we're gonna have to figure out what's up with that. But I'm happy I fixed the bug. Easy. I'm getting good at this. I'm getting better at debugging. I've realized I'm just better at it. It's I'm so familiar with the project now. I know it like the back of my hand. Yeah. So let's just finish through this till we get a crash. It's ugly as hell because we have some visual bugs. Gotta fix those, obviously. Gotta reduce that delay because that delay is so long. There's definitely, like, probably could do a half of a second, and that would let all the data get squeezed in there, but we'll see. Alright, it's the other player's turn, so he's gonna draw from the stack. Let's see, which method was he like? Okay, I clicked it. It's got a delay. The long delay. He drew a 5 from the stack. Okay. You know how hard this shit was to code? Looks like nothing, but it was so hard to code. Alright, Josh, it's your turn to play. All this card movement logic is insanity, dude. Alright, so he clicked play cards. Let's see if I can make a play. Alright, let's go ahead. We're just going to play them all. Play all of our cards. Play selected cards, and it's gonna have the delay, of course. There he goes, moving the pre-sort. Now it's sorting them. Yeah, all that logic to do all that was insane. Josh, you have some attempted melodies that do not pass rule requirements. See, these attempted melodies have only 1 card in them. Oh, you didn't give me enough time to read. Well, at least one of your attempted play cards have only 2 cards in them. 3 cards are required for a valid meld, so you must add a wild card to them for them to remain in play. It looks as if you have 2 wild cards in your set of play cards to use for this. Would you like to do this? Yes, of course. Alright. Now, which card am I going to choose? And what's it show on the other client right now? It looks like the other client's showing what's going on. It's keeping up with everything. Well, it's got a little bug here, artifact, showing that queen, but there is no queen there. Huh. So we're gonna add the to the ace, because aces are worth 20 points. Okay, so we did that. Now what? Okay, we want the joker, because jokers are cool. Jokers are worth 50 points. Okay, yeah, same scenario. Click the wild card. Well, we only have one option, so yeah, the delays. I'm fine with the up, and then we get our crash. Okay. Unknown opcode. Huh. What does that mean? System error, unknown opcode. Now, I don't think I've ever seen that before. It happened right here. I like it. Okay. Let us copy this. And I am gonna put this in our things to do. And I'll just put this as our current bug. Although, I mean, it's a bug. Crash bug. And yeah. It's a crash bug, and we'll just paste it in, and of course the indentation is going to be garbage because that's what happens. Alright. Now I'm going to go ahead and take a break, and I'll put 324 to 332. We tested above fix and verified working. Everything is working as intended, 100%. Working 100% as intended? Is 100% working as intended? I don't know. Something like that. Alright, and that's it, guys. So I'm gonna call it quits for right now. I'm gonna go eat because I'm hungry. I need some more caffeine. I'm gonna dope up, and I'll be back. We're gonna do a little bit more later. And we're gonna get some hours in today, at least a little bit, and our break is gonna be from 3:33 to like who knows. Alright, so I'll see you in